Oh, presented by Prize Picks. Get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 and you use the promo code welcome to Light Years. Tommy, you know who played tonight? The face of the fucking league. That's who played tonight. I just want to throw this out there right now. I am tired of the face of the league conversation, the struggle bullshit about how the media doesn't promote this, they didn't promote that. Who's the face of the league? We know who the face of the league is. The fans tell you who the face of the league is. I'm going to play something for you right now. This is a road arena. That was Steph with, what do you even call that shot? Like
a post up fadeaway 40-footer to close a half. I mean, not like considering like stage or context or anything. That might have been the craziest shot I've ever seen him hit. Like, obviously this isn't like a massive game. You know, it's not like hitting a shot in the finals or any playoff series, but I don't even know what that was. He did like an MJ Kobe turnaround fadeaway from 40 feet to close a half. I'm speechless, man. I don't have any words for what he does anymore.
And it's like, we're going to have our guys. We're going to have Neil on here a little later. We got Mikas on here who are at the game. There's a solid Light Years contingent at the Barclays tonight. This is one of those road games where I'm like, man, this is a home game for the Warriors. It is a home game the entire way. I know the Nets don't have the fan base the Knicks have, but I would argue MSG was like 50% a home game for the Warriors. Like, this is, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when Kobe used to come to Oracle when the Warriors sucked and it was a complete takeover. And it sucked, to be fair. When that happened, as a Warrior fan, I was like, man, I don't want to deal with these assholes, like that sort of thing. But, he did go down as one of the most beloved players of all time through his prime. And that's who Steph is right now. Like, I don't care who the media says is the face of the league. I don't care about Tatum versus Shea debates. I don't care about any of this stuff. The fans decide. And the fans tell you in every road arena who they care about. And it's number 30. Like, it's just, it'll never get old to me. In fact, if anything, I feel like I cherish it more because we don't know how many more years. Like, we're closer to the end than the beginning.
Oh, I definitely cherish it more now. And I think you can tell Steph does too. Steph wasn't going to miss that game on Tuesday. He said as much. He knows they only get to play there once a year. How many more times is it really going to be that same type of environment for him where he can still put on a performance like that? And I mean, he took over the final two games of that road trip. And, I thought obviously he had 40 tonight, 28 on Tuesday. So he played very well in both games, but just like, I mean, I hate to use this word, but just like the aura of it, right? Like, it's something that you can't manufacture. You can't make somebody have that. And like you said, it's the same as when Kobe would come to Oracle, same as when Jordan would go to the Garden back in the day, same as when Kobe would go to the Garden. You can't fake that stuff. Like you said, the fans tell you who it is. And I mean, we're not all the way there, but it's starting to get that feeling on the road again of like when the Warriors were the biggest show in town. It's not 2016 levels. Nothing will ever be that again, but they're taking over these road arenas in the ways that they used to. Like, as they were making the comeback in the first half and then in the second quarter and early third quarter, it was like palpable that there were fans in the Nets arena cheering for the Warriors. It sounded like it was almost a home game as they were making that comeback.
I have two thoughts on it. One is that it's not just the fans. It feels like the Warriors got their mojo back. And the second one was the most predictable hangover start of a game all season. I don't know which one I want to start with, but no, let's go there. It's just, Draymond's birthday Tuesday. We all saw the post on social. It's just predictable, man. You guys are too old to party like that. You guys were in New York for 3 nights. Yeah, they got in Monday night. So 72 hours at this point. They had a fun Tuesday night with Draymond's birthday, and God knows how Wednesday night went on top of that. You guys are too old. You guys are too old to live like that. And the first quarter showed it. First half showed it. But this is how I know they got their mojo back. They were cocky enough to do that. And they were like, we will come back and win this game. That is where it reminded me of the Dynasty Warriors the most, because they had those games during the Dynasty years where they would come out sloppy, and like we all know they probably had fun on the road, something like that. But there was never any fear that they weren't going to get back right into the game because they knew they could, because they knew they were that good. And that's like the real fun part of it. It's like funny to see them hungover to start a game, but it wouldn't be funny if it just turned into a 25-point beatdown.
Draymond's first shift of the night was the most relatable thing I've seen in years. It's like, oh yeah, I've been that guy at Sunday at 9 a.m. at the local run at the 24-hour fitness, just throwing the ball all over the gym, zero energy. You can basically see
just trying not to throw up.
Yeah, you can see the Lobos tequila like pouring out of his skin. But yeah, like you said, the fact that they felt comfortable doing that and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna come back and win this game. And Brooklyn made it worse by starting 9 of 10 from the field and 5 of 6 from 3. Like they didn't make it easy on him, but also the Warriors kind of weren't guarding anybody. Like it was kind of open shot after open shot for those first 6-7 minutes. But yeah, they have like that confidence that borders on cockiness again, where they just know they're really never out of any game. And this is not the first time they've had a comeback on, and since Jimmy's been traded. They came back from 24 against the Bulls. They came back against the Knicks the other night, but this is probably the 4th or 5th time out of these. They're 10-1 with Jimmy playing now. It's the 4th or 5th time where they've been down at some point in the first half and by like not an insignificant amount, and they've mounted a comeback and then won the game. So yeah, they just, it's not just that they're winning, it's the way that they're winning that's making me believe. Even against a bad Nets team, that's not a good team, but they've been playing better as of late, and they played incredibly hard tonight. Like at the very least, they were putting out a ton of effort. And it's the last game of a five-game road trip. That's an easy one to drop, and they were able to come back and get the job done.
And to me, it's like, look, I could walk you through the numbers. Top 3 defense since they got Jimmy. Top 3 in turnover percentage, which is to say they're not turning the ball over since they got Jimmy. Offense has been solid, top 10. All these metrics, but for me, it's really like an eye test thing. It's like a vibe thing for me. The Warriors pre-Jimmy trade, they lose tonight, and it's a throwaway game. And you and I are talking about it through the context of, well, end of a road trip, didn't have it, got tired, got punched in the mouth, and sometimes you just don't have the energy. This is a different thing. They got punched in the mouth to start the game, probably because they had too much fun in New York for a few days, which is going to happen over the course of the season. And they never lost belief. And it's as much about the top guys as it is the entire roster. Like, to me, this game turned with the Gui Santos, Quentin Post, Pat Spencer. Pat Spencer got some good minutes in there because Pods went down. We'll find out what happened there. Those guys,
outstanding.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, all right, if we just dig in, make some extra effort plays, and defend, if we get this game close, we believe Steph, Jimmy, Draymond will take us home. Like, that's how they come across to me. And then I feel like at the same time, Steph and Draymond, since they've got Jimmy, just have so much belief that, like, yeah, dude, if we have a bad first shift, it's not the end of the world. Like, obviously you don't want that, but it's a long game. I believe in the roster that we can, like, as long as we're not down 50 at halftime, if we're in the game, we can come back. And that's such a shift from pre-trade deadline.
It's the biggest shift, and we've talked about this kind of ad nauseum now, but the belief that they have, it's palpable. You can feel the difference in the way they're moving, the way they're acting, the way they're playing. And I mean, I think for my money, that might have been Jimmy's best game as a Warrior tonight, especially because they needed it. You know what I mean? I think it was the most aggressive I've seen him. And just
25.
It shot 10 free throws. And it felt like for the first time he was kind of forcing the issue. He kind of sensed in that second quarter they might need a little bit more from him. and his drives to the rim took on a different tone almost. Instead of like kind of rounding him off and looking for like the next guy, it was like, okay, I'm going straight downhill. I'm getting 2 feet in the paint. I'm either drawing a foul or I'm kicking out for a wide open three. And that's also when the game flipped. Obviously, like you said, Post, Santos, GP, they were amazing tonight. But I thought Jimmy's aggression really helped turn that game as well. And it brought life back into the team. And then, after that, it was kind of just the Steph show.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, God, the Steph show is just fun. I'm excited to get Neil and Mikas on here to discuss what they felt in the arena. There's like not really anything like a Steph performance in person. It's like going to church. I don't know. I'm not a religious person, but it's just like it makes you truly like escape everything around you and be in the moment in a way that very few things do. I think that's the best way to put it. Like a Steph performance for me, it's like, I don't know where my phone is. I don't know who I'm around. I'm like in the moment in a way that like very few things in 2025 make me in the moment anymore. So,
yeah. And I mean, he's just been bonkers since the Jimmy trade. I mean, the 56 in Orlando, 28 the other night against New York, but it was just like the degree of difficulty on the shots was insane. And then again tonight, I mean, some of those threes he made were just sprinting in transition, 8 feet behind the line, some of the off the split cuts, the one in the corner, like it was out of control. The degree of difficulty tonight was off the charts.
Bill Simmons was talking about how like Steph, this was pre-trade deadline, to be clear. He's talking about how like, Steph's still good, but we haven't gotten a Steph performance. And like, he was right. You and I and the whole conversation was like, is he declining? Is he slipping? What's going on here? And I would say since the trade, we've got at least 3, if not 4 of those games where you're like texting all your buddies, like turn it fucking on now, those type of Steph games. Right. Like, and it's generally like statistically, he's playing at the same level he played at during the unanimous MVP, or I'm not going to say he's the same player, but it's just like 36-6, 50, 40, 90, impossible shots. The numbers never really do it justice. It's just like whatever you need, you're going to get from him with like an added flair. And I just, sometimes I just like laugh at how much people were talking about how like there's not a trade they can make. They're like it's just like, do you know who like literally inspiring Steph is like trading for 3 superstars in some capacity, and that downplays Jimmy, but like bring in a good player who fills some of the issues you have, and then get Steph going. Like I don't know, it's almost like trading nothing for Luka Doncic or something.
Yeah, Jesus. I don't even want to go there, but Colin Cowherd was talking about this on his show. I think it was yesterday, where he's saying basically anytime you give Steph another superstar, Clay in his prime, obviously KD, he wins championships. Like that's what happens. He won one before KD, he won 2 with KD, and then he won one after without really a second superstar on the team. So like if you give him a guy who's a legit star, all-star level player, all bets are off. And I mean, he's not as good as 2016 in a lot of ways, but in other ways he's almost better because he doesn't need to expend the same amount of energy to get the same amount of points. Like back then, he would just cook you on an island all night because he could. He can't really do that anymore, but he still finds his way to 40. I mean, he still got there tonight when I would say a lot less dribbles than he used to take to get 40 points. A lot of it was off the catch, off the move, being smart with like how he's cutting to the rim, and just so much more efficient with his body movement and the way he gets it. And that's what the greats really do. They constantly tinker and they constantly figure it out. It's like MJ going from being above the rim to having the best post game in the league. It's that very similar thing where you make these little tweaks around the edges of your game and you can still be just as effective as you age.
Yeah, no, I mean, I feel the same way as you. Like, you can't say he was better than he was a decade ago because he was younger. He had the legs to do it every night, 365 in a way that a 36, gonna be 37 in a week guy can't. But on the other hand, this guy is better in a 1-game setting than that guy was. He just like there's ability to read the game, figure out what he needs to do, and just dissect. It's like the whole Tom Brady's like best years were in his 40s, and he's probably physically not a better player, but he just beat the game mentally. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel like Steph is now. Like Steph's always been a freak shooter. He's always been kind of a freak athlete in terms of endurance and the things he does. At this point, there's nothing you can throw at him that he can't figure out. And whereas like the 27-year-old version could get like flustered by coverages for a game because he hadn't experienced certain things that teams would do. Like in my mind, I think of what the Spurs used to do to him and how they would just like literally guard him on his hip because they just didn't want him to take the side step three. And he had a hard time like adjusting to the idea that like, just take the layup, Don't go for the kill shot. This guy, he's just kind of like, oh, you're going to guard me like that? This is what I'm going to. I'm not even going to think twice about it. I know exactly how to defeat this coverage. And he does it with, like, to your point, like an efficiency of moves that it really can only come from experience and keeping your body in shape.
And I think that's a great point on how coverage would frustrate him back in the day. Like this game started with Brooklyn being incredibly physical, top blocking everything to an insane degree. And Steph actually
getting away, by the way, with some terrible like efficiency.
The 0 fouls in the first quarter is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. I don't know how they had 0 fouls in the first quarter because they were incredibly physical to their credit. But I think the bigger thing is like you see Steph like literally body check Keon Johnson in the first quarter because he was so frustrated with it, but then he's able to like recenter himself and it doesn't like make him spin his wheels too much. He's like, okay, I know what I need to do tonight. And then he just goes and does it. Like, and I think the perfect way to like make the comparison is 2016 Steph is better than like 2022 Steph, but I don't know if 2016 Steph can do in the finals what 2022 Steph did against the Celtics. Right. Just like the way that Boston barely
the maturity,
to do it night after night and just like stay with it, despite the environment and the coverages and the physicality of the series. Not better, but like you said, in a 1-game environment, if I need to win 1 game, I'm probably taking this version over the younger version.
I'd also like describe LeBron the same way. Yeah. You know, I don't think 2020 LeBron is necessarily better than Miami Heat LeBron, but you just simply can't fluster. Like 2020 LeBron knew exactly what to do to every coverage, and there would be moments where where the age would show, but it wouldn't be like, they guarded me a certain way that threw me off mentally type of thing. For my money, I do prefer old Steph to young prime Steph because I just feel like he's inevitable in a way that younger Steph was still figuring out the inevitability, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand if people go the other way and people are like, oh, he's better in 2016. I think it's wild. We're still discussing it. I mean, he's turning 37 in a week, man. Like when, I don't need to talk to you about it, but when he was, I thought he would be able to hold his prime to 35, which is like an insane accomplishment. For a guard his size, he might be able to hold it to 40. I don't even know what to do with that. You know, I don't know what to do with it with a guy. You know, it's crazy. Someone like LeBron is able to do it. It's crazy anyone's able to do it, to be clear. But the idea that a guy who's not 6'9", 260, which LeBron is, can do this is otherworldly to me.
Nothing is out of the question at this point because it seems like the degree of difficulty just gets harder and harder. And it doesn't seem to matter, like, at all. Like I said, I cannot believe some of the shots he made tonight. They're still, after 15, 16, 18 years of watching it since Davidson, it's still like, okay, that can't go in. And it just does. And it does it night after night. And look, man, we'll never see anything like it again. That I know for sure. You know, I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'm going to cherish every last game because it's some of the most special stuff you'll see in all of sports, regardless of what your favorite is. But let's talk some prize picks, huh? All right.
By the way, I won big on prize picks tonight. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Steph and Curry.
Yep. Light Years Podcast is brought to you by Prize Picks. Run your game all season long on Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in award winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Prize Picks is the best way to win real money this basketball season. Which players are going off and which ones aren't. I use a flex play tonight, as I typically do. I went more on Steph points because he's in New York, he's in Brooklyn, and he always goes off in those places. I went less on Draymond's points, rebounds, assists. That actually hurt me because I figured it's the Draymond hangover game. No way. But it was like 18.5 and he hit like 20 something. But then I went more on Jimmy points. So we cashed out. It's all good. PrizePicks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday. Each Tuesday, PrizePicks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. So download the app today and use code LIGHTYEARS to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 instantly when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game.
All right, guys, I'm here to tell you about Body Spec. You know the deal. DEXA scans, get your body in shape. Look, you get older. You wanna understand what's really going on with your body. Standing on the scale, it's cool. It doesn't really tell you. You know, me and Tommy weighing 200 pounds, not the same thing. You know, me, Andy, weighing the same, not the same thing. You really want to know what's going on under the hood, and a DEXA scan is the best way to do it. And so a DEXA scan is a highly accurate method of measuring your body's composition. Body fat percentage is probably the most famous one. Everyone's always curious about their own body fat percentage. Lean muscle mass, visceral fat, the fat around your organs, just like all the things that are actual health indicators. And traditionally, this has really only been a thing that pro athletes do. Like the Warriors get DEXA scans, the 49ers get DEXA scans, but can Tommy and Sam get DEXA scans? Not easy. Usually costs $300, $400, $500 to get one. What BodySpec has done is made this attainable for all for only $45. Price of a haircut. So go to BodySpec.com, use the code LIGHTYEARS45 and get a DEXA scan. They got locations in the city, they got locations in LA, and they got mobile vans that will come to you. Literally, they'll come to you, do scan, 10, 15 minutes. You get your results, only $45. Start your fitness journey. Whew, man. I am like so bought in on the Warriors in a way I've not been in a very long time, even more so than the 2022 run. I'm going to admit, like, I was always a skeptic of 2022. And you know what? They deserve every piece of credit they got for it. And like, I saw it as it was happening, but I didn't see it before it was happening, if that makes sense. I was never a real buyer. This one, I was a big believer in Jimmy, and it's still like exceeding my wildest expectations in a way where I feel like rejuvenated around this team. And then the other part of that rejuvenation is I really like the young players on this team. You know, Pods, hopefully that back thing's not serious. We don't have word about it right now, but he left the game in the first minute. But Moses Moody, I thought he played well tonight. Quentin Post, what a bounce back game from a rough one in New York, right? Gui Santos. I mean, I can go down the line, but I kind of want to give you the floor on this. Even like Pat Spencer, the little bit he played, like I feel like my belief when they throw Gui Santos out there is something I haven't had in a Warriors young player who's unproven since like Pat McCaw.
Yeah, I mean, he just gets it, and that sounds like that's not a great way to describe it, but he just understands how to play basketball. It's very cliche, but like you watch him out there and you're like, oh, that's a Golden State Warriors player. The cutting, the rebounding, the way he rotates on defense, the passing. He had a couple like really good dump off passes and just like kicking out to a shooter, the way he moves the ball. I mean, he essentially got, I can't remember, I think it was the third quarter. He got Steph an open three just by like the ball got kicked back out to him. He immediately went into a dribble handoff. Steph came off of it. They kicked it out to somebody else. And then he caught it on a swing to Steph. And just like the way he moves and how quickly he moves, it fits so well with what the Warriors want to do. And then that's amplified by Jimmy. And I think that's probably the biggest part of it is like Jimmy has been able to amplify all these young guys. I liked Gui when he started playing. I liked Post when he started playing. I always kind of liked Moses. I always liked Pods, like I liked all these guys, but the way that the offense hums now because of the addition of Jimmy has amplified each and every one of these guys. But I mean, I thought he was amazing tonight. I thought Post was amazing tonight. Like, obviously, like the scoring is always welcome. Like the guy can put the ball in the bucket. There's no doubt about that. He even had a nice like little spin move or just dribbled Cam Thomas down into the post and scored an easy bucket like when Brooklyn was switching everything. But I thought his rim protection was really good. He hung on the perimeter against Cam Johnson a couple times, which is not a super easy task. But the way he's picking stuff up so quickly, Post, and his competitive fire, like dude's kind of a dog. Like, he does not like to lose and he doesn't like to make mistakes. And he was like part of getting the team kind of fired up and revved up to go. And that's what you need from your young guys with an older core. Like, you need them to bring that energy on nights when the old guys don't have it. And they seem to really respond to him. Like, when he gets fired up, so does the rest of the team.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like, you hear Dunleavy talk, and Dunleavy, by the way, talks like a GM, more than Bob Myers did. Bob, I've come to miss Bob, and I went through my cycle of feelings with Bob's exit, but
The stages of grief.
I've come to, he was an incredibly important part of a lot of championships, the Warriors. So I was never going to really hold a grudge against him. Just it's like the Clay thing for me, where it's like, hey, fuck you, and then like 6 months, 12 months pass, and it's like pretend I never said any of that stuff, and I'm over it. But Dunleavy, he's so like it's GM speak, which is something we haven't heard from a Warriors GM for a decade because Bob is just a different animal, right? And all he ever talks about is like fit. Like, it's not just about talent. Like, you gotta find guys who fit into what Steve Kerr wants to do, what Steph Curry wants to do, and the system we have. And it sounds good, but there's always kind of like you roll your eyes. You're like, all right, cool. Like, Gui, to me, I don't know if Gui would be as good on another team. On the Warriors, I'm sitting here going like, he might be a 25-minute game guy next year. He might be a full mid-level exception, get a Moses Moody contract in a year's time, because I mean, he's a legit 6'7", 6'8". Like, he has legit power forward in 2025 size.
Oh yeah.
And he can switch on to quick guards enough. He can definitely switch, which is the most important thing for wing players in the modern NBA. Like, can you guard multiple positions? And he can hit enough shots, but you're right. The part that makes him super exciting is like, whatever that like ability it is to make quick decisions and just move the ball. Kelly Oubre never had it.
Yeah.
Super talented player, but just not the way he plays the game. Gui just intrinsically has it. It's the way he sees the game. He gets it quick. I don't think he really cares about like wanting to have his number called. I think he understands who he is. Andy actually texted me and goes like, this is the new JTA, but with like NBA physical measurables.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there going like, that's actually a really good comp for him, because JTA was awesome, but JTA was always like, I mean, he's pushing 6'5". He's more 6'4", 6'3", and it's hard to play power forward at that size. It's hard. Whereas like Gui's taller than Jimmy and Draymond. Yeah. That's all you need to know.
And I mean, JTA was 28. He's 22. And I think he's more naturally skilled and has like just a little bit better of a I think JTA was more like he taught himself how to play. Whereas Gui, it just kind of seems to be inherent. You know what I mean? Like, he just kind of gets it naturally. Some of that might come from like probably playing soccer as a kid down in Brazil. Who knows? That's just conjecture, but like just kind of that feel for sport and the way to move and like the way to just like move within a team concept. Like, it's so natural to him. But yeah, I mean, I think he can absolutely be a guy that's valuable. And why this is so important is because you're looking for these wins on the margins. Like, obviously you want to go out and improve the roster this summer, no matter what, but you're looking for these little wins on the margins with guys with small contracts. Cause you're paying Steph 60, you're paying Jimmy 55, you're paying Draymond 25.
Isn't this always the bet? Like, people are like, oh, yeah. I don't want to pay Jimmy. Like, Jimmy's not worth 50, 60. Maybe true. He's maybe not in the traditional sense, but if you can figure it out in the margins for cheap, who cares? Who cares? Who cares if you're paying an extra? Who cares if you're paying him 8 to 10 million more than anyone on the market was willing to pay him?
Absolutely. I mean, 100%. Like you said, that's the bet you have to make. But what all of this makes me so excited for, with like the collection of guys that they have now, with the way like I said, the way the ball moves, the way that they're just playing Warriors basketball again, it makes me more excited for the addition of Kuminga, because now it's like he can just exist within that environment without having to make a ton of decisions and just go be a play finisher. Because it seems like everybody that's playing now, they just understand it. You know what I mean? And not that Wiggins didn't, but Wiggins just wasn't that type of player. He was never going to be a guy that moved the ball quickly. He was never going to be a guy that like anticipated plays. He was valuable for what he did, and I'll always have like a special spot in my heart for Wiggs because he they don't win that 2022 championship without him. We all know that. But the lineup of guys that they have now, it just feels like a Warriors team again with the way the ball moves, and adding a true play finisher who can just go score like coming into that mix can be incredibly dangerous. And it's crazy. We don't even talk about it anymore. Like when in those moments where they're struggling to score, Kuminga can be that guy who kind of lifts those units so they don't have those droughts where they can't score the basketball.
Yeah, and like the reality is they're in a sprint right now. Jimmy's going to end up playing 31. No, well, he already missed one game. He'll be a Warrior for 31 games before the playoffs. Maybe he plays 28, 29 of them, which would be a great thing. Like, I don't know. He's probably going to sit another game. It happens, right? Sort of thing. They're in a sprint. Next year, they're going to need guys who can simply carry the load because Jimmy and Steph are not going to play like this for 82 games. They're going to pick their spots. Kuminga's biggest value of them is literally just being like an innings eater sometimes. I don't mean that as an insult, but it's like the bell cow back. Someone just has to get those carries, someone has to do it. And it's like a two-way street because Jimmy's a perfect player for him to learn from and a perfect player for, at the end of Jimmy's contract, if we're sitting here going, Kuminga's better than him. Everything worked out perfectly as far as I'm concerned, right? He got like the mentorship. He's playing with a guy who I don't think their skill sets are exactly the same, but like if I was to define the way Kuminga's most likely to have success, it's downhill pressure, it's getting to the line, it's using the fact that you're bigger, stronger, faster than the guys guarding you and using that physical advantage to exploit it, and then figuring out the secondary passing off of it, which let's be honest, Jimmy didn't have that early. He developed it over time, right? He learned how to read defenses and get there. So I do agree with you on that front. I also want to talk Quentin Post real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This might have been my favorite Quentin Post game because I thought the Knicks game, he was terrible. I thought that was very much a, what's the expression, like, the glass slipper turns to a pumpkin, the Cinderella thing. Like, okay, he was cute, but then they get a physical defense against him and he looks like a guy who shouldn't be playing playoff basketball. And who knows, like if he's a rookie and that's the case, it is. But his response to a game where I think he got punked most of the time tells me so much more about him than like when things are going well, particularly since he was kind of attacking the rim a little bit. The floater, taking like Claxton's a fucking good defender. It was just, I love the response. Like you learn so much more about a player after they hit adversity than any other time.
Yeah, the dude is not scared. I mean, that's kind of what I referenced earlier. He is incredibly competitive, and you can see that like oozing out of him at times. Like I said, I thought he was the one that really got the team fired up in that second quarter. I think he hit maybe 2 threes in a row, but I think he hit a 3 and then maybe somebody else hit a 3. And then like he went over the bench, like yelling and screaming. And you could see, like, I'm pretty sure like I saw Trey kind of like smiling and laughing at him, but you need that at the end of these road trips. You need that when you have an older core, and the skill is obviously super enticing. Like the guy has incredibly good touch around the rim. He'll learn how to slow down in the paint a little bit and not rush so much. He'll get better at finishing and punishing those mismatches. He did that a lot in college, but the shooting is a skill that's going to keep him on the floor. And it feels like he keeps picking stuff up as a rim protector and like positioning himself in the right place. He's always going to be physically limited with his feet. He's never going to slide well, but I'm so impressed by how quickly he's picking stuff up. Like it seems like you said, he responded to adversity from the last game, and like he learned maybe how to position himself a little bit better when guys are coming at his chest, because Draymond made that point to him against the Knicks. So yeah, what a find. I mean, 52nd pick in the draft, and this is really the second, or you could maybe consider it the third draft hit for Dunleavy in the front office since he took over. So it's really exciting because, after Steph and Draymond are gone, you're going to need to start drafting better than they did in the past. And if this is kind of what we're going to get out of the draft, it makes me feel better about the direction of the franchise.
54th pick, dude. Like getting like even Trace, who's fallen out of the rotation, and yeah, I've heard his quotes. He's like, I need to figure out how to hit a shot and do a couple things to get in the rotation. Even if he never does, they got value out of the 57th pick.
Yeah.
He was a rotation piece for them for a year, Quentin Post, same thing, like 54th pick. Anything he gives them is, you're punching above your weight there. So that's exciting. Should we talk about friend Cam Johnson real quick?
Should we take a break real quick and then do that?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
All right. All right. Light Years Podcast is brought to you by Via. Remember when you could function on 4 hours of sleep? Yeah, those days are gone. But don't worry, Via's got
Yes, they are.
Dude, Via's got something to help you sleep like a log. I have been preaching about this for it feels like months now. Via's CBD, the Zen, right there. It's on your screen. It's the best stuff I've ever taken for sleep. Like if I've had a long day or if I'm restless at night and I feel like I'm not gonna be able to get some good sleep, I pop one of those bad boys and I am out like an absolute light. Cannot swear by them enough. And here's the best part. Via lets you actually customize your experience, whether you're looking for daily wellness, laser focus, or deep relaxation, aka the kind of chill that makes you one with the couch. Via has it for you. With products ranging from 0 to high cannabinoid levels, they've got options for everyone. We're talking about award-winning effect gummies to calming drops, all made with organic, lab-tested hemp from trusted independent American farms. None of that mystery gas station nonsense. Their products range from 0 to 100 milligrams of THC, so these guys have you covered whether you're looking to microdose or enjoy more potent effects. So if you're 21 plus, check out the link to Via in our description and use code LIGHTYEARS to receive 15% off. Free shipping on orders over 100. And if you're new to Via, you get your gift free of choice. After you purchase, just tell them where you heard about them. Click LIGHTYEARS in the drop down. That's the best way to support our show and enhance your everyday with Via.
Enhance, my friends.
The best, man. I cannot swear by those guys enough.
They are great. All right, guys, I'm here to tell you about Timeline. Cellular health is the foundation of well-being and longevity. And with MitoPure supplements, you can support your health by encouraging cellular renewal. MitoPure recharges your cells, supporting any goals by helping all the systems work together. With MitoPure, you'll feel different in your energy levels, your workouts, your endurance, and your recovery. MitoPure is the only supplement on the market clinically proven to target effects of age-related cellular decline. Look, I'm getting old. Nobody knows about this more than me. MitoPure is research-backed innovation that unlocks your fullest potential. MitoPure even shown to deliver double-digit increases in muscular strength and endurance without a change in exercise. That's right. I've taken MitoPure supplements, and I can tell you it's been a game changer. My workouts are better. I feel like I have more energy, and I can rest well knowing my health is taken care of. Guys, literally without these supplements, I would not be able to function working, having a toddler, potting at night. It's pure MitoPure Via, all of it. Anyway, it's once a day, easy to take. You'll thank me later. Right now, Timeline is offering 10% off your order of MitoPure. Go to timeline.com/lightyears. Guys, that's timeline.com/lightyears. Yeah, I'm not even kidding you. I'm literally just a walking supplement at this point. It's the only way I can. It's the only way I can do this. You guys do not understand. 4 hours of sleep is where I'm at these days. So
it's one of those things where you always feel like people who are older than you are lying to you. They're like, oh, like you don't understand, you don't get it. And then slowly but surely it happens. It's like Draymond with the hangover game today. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like you can just see it on us. Like, dude, I've been there. Horrendous.
Oh, not even a question. And Draymond, there's no amount of Pedialyte that was fixing you. Not for score. Yeah,
I'm sure he got 4 or 5 IVs. It didn't matter.
Liquid IV. There you go. Yeah, exactly. Friend of the show, Cam Johnson, had a nice game tonight. And I have a question for you. Of the non-superstars, or not even just stars, so basically non-all-stars, because I don't need you to tell me Lowry Markkanen would fit very nicely next to Draymond and Jimmy. Of the non-star class of player, or like Jokic or something like that, is there a better fit for the Warriors next to Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler as that third front court player than Cam Johnson?
I mean, it's a very short list if there are some. I mean, we've talked about this guy before, like maybe Nas Reed, like he'd be on
Sure.
that list. But I think I like Cam a little bit more just because something that Cam has done since leaving Phoenix is there he was more of just spot up shooter, right? Like he played a role for that team. They made the finals. Like he was very solid for them. Like starter on a finals team. That's something to sneeze at. But obviously he can always shoot the ball. Like that guy is he's as good as they come in terms of shooting the ball outside of obviously Steph. But like if we're just talking movement, catch and shoot, but he's gotten so good at attacking closeouts. Like if you overplay him a little bit or you have a bad closeout on him, now he's like very confident in driving, getting to the rim. Did that a couple of times tonight. Shot 6 free throws. His playmaking's not bad. 4 assists. I mean, if you're not going to get like a true stretch center, which they kind of already have with Post, like I'd rather just ride with that and get maybe a rim running center to go along with it and then nab like a big wing like Cam Johnson, then maybe go to the traditional big man route. And some of that, like I said, it has to do with Post because I am a believer in him. But yeah, Cam, he's just continue to develop into a very good player. And I think he fits the Warriors ethos just in terms of how they want to play and his approach to the game and his attitude. Like he would just fit everything they do.
Yeah, like when I think about the Warriors, if I was to poke holes at them, hole number one is size with the lineups they're playing right now. Like they could just use a little more front court size. Cam's a B addition. He's not an A addition. And that like he is bigger. He's got great size for a 4. You're still undersized in the front court because Draymond's playing the 5, right? The second one is shooting, like legitimate shooting. Like a guy who moves off ball and just will hit shots, particularly operating off the weak side and doing the things that Clay did for a decade, right? I'm not sure, other than Lowry Markkinen, there's a guy over 6'7" who can fill the dots of both providing front court size and knowing how to use it to some degree of functionality and functioning off ball offensively, essentially as a shooting guard. Uh, yeah, you mentioned Nas Reed. I actually like Nas more as a player than Cam Johnson, but I'm not convinced that Nas would be a better fit in context of Draymond, Jimmy, and Steph than Cam. Because so much of the stuff Cam does reminds me of Clay, like moving off a pin down, operating, on the weak side, moving off ball, catching it and immediately going up with it, like not thinking about it in a like he's a shooter.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a guy who can shoot. He is a shooter, And then to your point, he's added that element of understanding how to attack a closeout and use his size defensively. Like it's hard not to watch Brooklyn and be like, that is, if this Warriors team doesn't go all the way, that is the player that completes the entire mission, right? Like completes everything. He hits every one of your gaps. It's like adding a hybrid of Klay Thompson and Harrison Barnes, right? Like he's not quite the shooter Klay was, but it's like he does a little bit of both those guys thing, which is like the perfect piece to go off of your kind of 3-star guys.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice way to put it. Like it's the size of big like Harry, shoot like Clay. Shout out Vivek. No, he'd be, like you said, outside of like true all-star players, like obviously Lowry, Zach LaVine, like those guys would be awesome gets, if you don't have to remove any of your core pieces. But outside of those guys, I really would struggle to think of somebody better than Cam, just because, like you said, the shooting is a weakness on this team. Like there is a reason, and I know fans are frustrated by it. There's a reason they keep playing Buddy Hield. And it's not necessarily because they want to play Buddy Hield 25 minutes or however many he played tonight. It's because they just need the threat. They need the spacing. Even when the shots don't go in, at least people still guard him, and that is the biggest area of need for just talking skill and not size. And I mean, what better guy to add outside of like the absolute most elite scorers or shooters in the league, outside of a Devin Booker or Zach LaVine? Like you're really not going to do much better than Cam. So the tougher thing is the mechanics of getting him. If that's the direction they decide to go this summer, you'd have to probably give up Kuminga, or you could do Moody plus maybe Buddy and another contract.
No, you have to get like
you're giving up Kuminga.
You're not getting it without Kuminga,
right?
So that's kind of like I don't want to go down that route right now, but
yeah.
it's an interesting backdrop because we're waiting on Kuminga to come back. And in some ways, I feel like the next 2 to 3 months are really going to tell us if Kuminga is a long-term piece of this future or not, because what they have is working. They definitely have an identity. And I could see what we talked about earlier being the truth, where he's like the perfect piece to extend these guys' longevity. And I can also see the alternative, which is it's still kind of like water and oil. It doesn't quite work. And part of you is like, it's just time to move him in some capacity. So I don't know. I'm just like, I kind of don't even want to go down that. Like they're playing too well right now. It's not really worth the conversation, but it is kind of like when you look at someone like Cam Johnson, in the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, if the Kuminga thing doesn't work, and it's been 4 years, if it doesn't look like it's working in this context with Jimmy, it's time to really start looking at like, is that sign and trade an angle? Is there another one that way? Because it's been long enough, like they did the same thing with Wiseman for a while. They did the same thing with Wiggins where they chased it for a while. At some point, you just kind of call it what it is. Steph Curry, greatest player in franchise history. You see how good he is tonight? Nobody you have on the roster is capable of that. No amount of development is going to turn Pods, Moody, or Kuminga into that. And I like those guys. But like at a certain point, you got to call it the way it is. And I think that's kind of where we're going with it.
Yeah. And to be clear, I hope it does work with Kuminga because that makes everybody's life a lot easier.
Yeah. They would prefer too. It's less like, what's easier than making a trade? Having it in-house. Like you don't have to do anything. You figure out the contract, you run it back next year, you sign a mid-level exception, you call it a day. Mike doesn't grow gray hairs. Like life's a lot easier that way.
Yep. I mean, but we've seen Mike isn't willing to move pieces quickly. Somebody mentioned not to get too off topic, but somebody mentioned Dennis Schroeder being a Warrior the other day, and I was like, that seems like a fever dream almost. Like, but
I know, right?
I think the point is, I think the bigger point with that is Mike isn't afraid to shake things up quickly. Like he is much more cutthroat than Bob was. He's like, yeah, I don't care that we just traded for Dennis. Get him out of here. We're getting Jimmy Butler. Like, I don't give a shit. So if push came to shove, I think they would do that with Kuminga. But like I said, my preference is to not need that. My preference is Kuminga takes that like real next leap, and they just, they either can go chase a title this year or they're like really well positioned to do it next year.
I agree. And like honestly, I'm like just probably impatient, ready for Kuminga to get back. That's the other part of it. It's just like, come on, dude. And I understand it. It's like it's gonna happen in the next 3 games or 4 games, hopefully. But like I'm ready. Hey, we got our guy Neil who went to the game. Intern Neil in the house.
My guys, what's happening,
up, man?
The subway was cooperating today. I was afraid I was gonna be like, because everyone just gets like bunched up as you like leave the arena usually, but like I was able to like get on and get back home pretty quick. But man, what a game! What a game! It's quite the experience seeing Steph in an opposing arena. Like you haven't done it before. Like you don't really understand his impact until you go to like an opposing game or like in a away arena and the Warriors.
Can you just paint the picture for how loud it got when Steph did anything versus the home team players?
Like, okay, Sam, you texted in the group like before, like maybe 5 minutes before the game. This is a home game. No, it was legitimately a home game. Like, like even like when they were announcing this, the starting lineups, like Steph's got such a loud like cheer. It was like insane. Like before the game, there were like just tons of Warriors fans, like kind of with their phones out, like near, like all like kind of bunched up near the court, like near the sidelines and baselines, like trying to get videos and pictures of Steph. When he hit that 3 to end the first half, like the buzzer beater, man, it was like, it wasn't like Oracle, but man, it was loud. Like it was insane. And then, the night 3, which honestly it got a little kind of questionable after that, but man, it was loud. That was kind of the first did he night too early? Yeah.
Game. And I was like, I never truly got scared, but when they hit shots, I was like, single possession.
When Cam hit that like half court three to cut it 2. I was like, man, this like because we have Jimmy now. I always feel like sort of like calm in a weird way. Like we're not gonna blow this like we did, the last 2.5 years, 3 years. But yeah, it got a little interesting there at the end after he hit that 3.
Sam and I were talking earlier when they were making the comeback in the second or third quarter. It sounded like almost the entire arena was cheering for them. Is that what it felt like in the arena? Was that the reality? Because that's what it sounded like on the broadcast.
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, to be fair, also for Nets fans, like they're probably rooting for the team to lose, like in actuality, right? So it's like it's one of those things where it's like when
Hey,
the Knicks were
Cooper.
terrible. Yeah, it's like when the Knicks were terrible, like in the mid 2010s. Like people were like when Stars went to the Garden, they were like everyone was kind of just cheering for the Stars. So it definitely felt like that. I went with the friend I went with. He's a Nets fan. And he was just like, listen, I'm just here for like a good game and to watch Steph go off, and he got that. So, but no, when they were like in the first quarter, they looked like they had like went clubbing, the night before, and like every like bar in New York City. So it definitely was like a kind of a weird feeling because like it was mostly Warriors fans in my section, so like the things they were screaming at Buddy Hield because he just like had a terrible night. And like Pat spent because like Pods went out early and no one really knew why, and like I don't know unless you check Twitter. And so like when they saw Pat Spencer just turning the ball over, there was some angry Warriors fans for sure. So that also felt like a home game where when they were down 20, people were just like getting really upset. But yeah,
Neil, what's the last Warriors game you've been to?
the last Warriors game I went to was the reverse picture of this, where the Nets were in the Bay Area. This is like what? This is even before we traded for Dennis Schroeder. So this is like Tommy was saying.
Oh,
you're
talking about like 3-4 months ago,
but a couple months ago. Yeah, when
Thanksgiving, huh?
Yeah, around Thanksgiving. Yeah, that was the last game I went to, and that was like a disaster of a game because they were up pretty big. I remember in that game, and they blew that lead, and Dennis Schroeder was like just hitting every shot. And yeah, that was the last game I went to. But this is the first. Yeah,
it's really been like 3 seasons here, right? Like there was the hot start with Melton, Warrior legend D'Anthony Melton. I think he played 3 games. And then the disgusting free fall where they traded for Dennis Schroeder and he didn't fix everything. And then the Jimmy Butler renaissance where we're a new team. We're a new team. We feel like our better selves. We feel like pre-COVID selves. That's really what it comes down. I haven't felt this type of like joy around the Warriors since pre-COVID. That's where I'm at right now. And maybe that's a personal thing. But they really do make me feel like, not quite dynasty. Well, kind of dynasty era. That's where I'm at with this team. Yeah, probably a me thing.
Yeah, I would say 2022 was like the last time I mean, I guess we all felt like that, but yeah, I mean, like it like even when they were down 20, I was like, all right, just like get it to 12 by like the end of the end of the first half, and
single
I think
digits.
we should be good. Yeah, they got to 5, so like it was, yeah, I mean, like, and then the third, then they kind of staggered a little bit maybe in the third quarter, but like in the fourth quarter they kind of walked in. And just like I've noticed that for the last few games, especially like they kind of just like against the Knicks, especially they really just like are locked in the fourth quarter, making defensive stops, and they're like getting easy layups like on the other end, like just getting ahead of teams, just kind of just want it more maybe than the other team. So that's definitely something to notice.
What arena cheers louder for Steph? The Barclays Center tonight or the Chase Center?
Man, I was telling my friend that like honestly tonight felt louder than the game I remember going to back a few months ago. And maybe that's just because Chase has become like kind of corporate with like the Patagonia vests, like, in every row. But man, it was loud. It was super loud today.
What was the louder moment, the half court shot or the night? Or was there a louder moment than that at any point?
I think the half court shot was probably because they were also making a run. Like they were getting back into the game. Like they were just, it was a really good sequence for them. I think they were up, I guess 7 before he hit that last 3. So that people kind of felt already good about it. Obviously it was loud and everyone was doing the night, like all the Warriors fans were standing up doing the night everywhere. But yeah, I would say that half court shot, like even Nets fans were just like, who is this guy? Like, this is just absurd.
Appreciate you, Neil.
Good to
You
see
have
you,
a
Neil.
great evening. Oh, we got one more from the streets of
boy.
New York.
Oh boy, of course.
Mikas,
That is the most
Are you-
New York man in the world.
are you in a subway right now?
I'm 1 minute away from the train picking me up, baby. Like 1 minute away. It's about to pull up. We're not going to lose signal because it's an above ground train. I'm going to jump on this train and distract the train riders with Warriors propaganda. So I'm excited to do
Let's
that.
go.
Thing is,
Literally the most New York man in the world right now. Talking
Right
too loudly
now.
on his phone in the subway.
Look, usually that's Hispanic people, and I don't even want to talk Hispanic people, but like that is usually like a couple friends, and I was like, who is it? Who is like the loudest group of people on the subway? And it's usually Hispanic people. I don't want to, but in New York, I love all my people in New York. We're about to jump on the train. That was a fucking unbelievable game. I was sitting with all Nets fans, left and the right of us, and right before the shot, we had somebody get up. The train is pulling up. Sorry, guys. But give them 1 second, everybody. Similarly to right when that half-court shot was about to go up, when Steph, Mare didn't even see that half-court shot. The thing is, like, we didn't even see the half-court shot. I barely saw it because we had people jumping up, crossing through, being like, oh, there's 7 seconds left in the half. We're, like, not even going to, like, wait to the end. They didn't want to wait to the end. And then Steph pulls up and hits that fucking stupid-ass shot. And everybody in Barclays just blew up. And I just knew. And I looked at Mare. I said, as long as we are within 8 at halftime, we're going to win this game. What's up, Mare? Did you enjoy the game?
Yeah, it was great.
She loved it. She loved the game. We enjoyed the game so much. And the thing about it is, here's the thing. I had no doubt. Even when they were down 28, I was like, what's the live odds? Couldn't even pull up because we had no service in Barclays. Dumbass fucking arena. I'm sure Chase Center has good live odds. Like, shout out Prize Picks, shout out fucking whatever the sponsors of Light Years podcast are. I'm sure they have great live odds in Chase Center. They did not have great odds in the Barclays arena. But I looked at the bar. I was with all the Light Years Goons at Kelly O'Meara's bar right before, and I said, hey, Steph has never scored 40 against the Nets, and he's never scored 40 against the Pistons. And he has a back-to-back game against not a back-to-back, but one game against the Nets, and then two.
Right, next one's the Pistons.
Yeah, and I said, last time I saw Steph, he scored 38 in Barclays, and he had to rest because they were so up against the KD, Harden, Novak, Kyrie Nets that he didn't even play in the fourth quarter. So I was like, tonight, Kyrie didn't have a vaccine at that time. Like, I'm on a train, by the way. Kyrie didn't even have a vaccine at that time, and he couldn't play, and Steph had 38, and he was like, we're not playing for the fourth quarter. And I was like, okay, that's kind of annoying. Tommy, you know about that game. You're familiar with that game.
That's the championship season.
Yeah, that is absolutely the championship season. I agree. Very, very much the championship season. I was a little frustrated because I was like, he's gonna break 40 that game. We went to Barclays last year. Clay got benched. Gui Santos had like a huge game. And this year I put like some money on Steph. I was like, Steph 4-4, 40 points, 7 threes, Warriors win, Pods 4 rebounds. I was fucked because Pods. Yeah. No, I would have hit it. It's okay. I accept it. It was fine. It's all about the Warriors winning. No big deal, but it was a little annoying. I will say it was a little annoying. Prize Picks, hit me with that refund if you guys are available.
I'll see what I can do for you.
Yeah, we'll
I'll
get in
see what I
touch
can
with
Yeah,
them.
thank you.
We'll
guys.
get in touch with them.
Get me the refund. But great game, and what I will say is it was very clear in the middle of the second quarter when we were down like 26. Barclays was like trying to be taken over by Warriors fans. Warriors chants were being broken out. It was like trying to be taken over, and the Warriors just couldn't quite get there. But I looked at man and I was like, hey, we're going to be within 8. We get within like I think we finished within 4. And from that point on, it was a Warriors game. Like every time Steph was fouled, just huge eruptions. Every time Jimmy maybe had my favorite game as a Warriors fan thus far through. I mean, what a game for Jimmy. It felt like every time Steph wasn't on the floor, Jimmy was just controlling the whole thing, orchestrating the whole thing. It felt like if we didn't have Jimmy, we were losing the game by 30 points. But because we had Jimmy, we were winning this game by 10 points. And we only won by 2, so you know what? Who's to say? But I looked at man and I was like, hey, he's about to get to 40. He got fouled. We were erupting. People around us, they were Nets fans. They were not happy. But I knew, and all I know is what I said was, It's OKC 1 seed, Lakers 2 seed, Nuggets 3 seed. Warriors are going to be the 4 seed. Memphis 5 seed, Rockets 6 seed. I originally said Dallas 8 seed. It won't be Dallas. It's going to be
No, Dallas is going to the lottery, buddy.
Yeah,
Dallas
they're
Dallas
finished.
is out. It's Grizzlies 7 against the Lakers, and it's probably like Kings at the 8. But the Warriors are going to be winning. They're going to beat the Grizzlies. That's not a real team, especially with no JJJ. That's not a real team. They're going to beat the Thunder. They're a big upset in 6 games in Golden State, and then they're going to beat the Lakers in the West Conference Finals. So they're going to beat Boston. I placed money on it already. I've got Warriors to beat the Celtics in 6 games, and I've never felt more confident. You watch Steph in real life, and how could you ever believe in anybody fucking else? It's Steph Curry all day, and it's always been Steph Curry all day. That's all I gotta say.
Mikas, we love you, and this is the perfect way to end the show. That is a perfect call. Have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you,
Appreciate
everybody,
you
and
guys.
thank you, Mikas.
Ugh.